Hey everybody, welcome to day 2 of my Scooby-Doo challenge. Last video was a success and thank you guys for joining me on that one. Today's question is a Scooby-Doo episode, all the series, games, movies and episodes and that with the first letter of your name. And you don't really have to choose all of them. It's pretty much choose which one you want to go with. So you have those options. There's 4 options. You can choose from an episode format. You can choose from a movie format. Or if you want to go from the series title alone, you can do so. Or if you want to spice things up, we have the video game selection. So there are 4 to choose from. You don't have to choose them all. But I thought for this one, I have written down a small list right here that I'm going to read through. The ones that I just thought off by heart. And obviously I'll display them as well on screen, but I went from series, movies to games as well, just to clear out them ones. For series, I went with an episode and an actual series title because, you know, M for my name. So the first one for the series one, I went with Mummy 2, which was from the Scooby-Doo Where Are You Seasons 1 episode 12, and that was the only one I could think of off by heart because I remember the Mummy episode so well, and it used to really spooked me as a kid, so that's why it's still there in the back of my head. Like, I still remember that sort of stuff. And then for the series one, I went with Mystery Incorporated, obviously because of the M for mystery, and it was obviously going to be the one off my top of my head because I think it's the only one that is M, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. So yeah, that's a win-win for there. And then we go on to the movies as well. I could have been here for days, and we don't want that. So for the movies, I went with a few, and probably there might be more with M if you actually dove in and actually look at the specials or the director movies and that sort of thing. I went with Meet the Boo Brothers, Monster of Mexico, Music of the Vampire, Mask of the Blue Falcon, Moon Monster Madness, and Mystery Begins, and also Mystery Unleashed if you want to class that as well. Those are both live actions. But yeah, I went with those ones. Those were the ones I just jotted down off by heart. I think there might be more. I'm not 100% sure on that one because, you know, I have to go through the entire list, and, you know, just going off by memory alone, I think that's pretty impressive. Now we move on to the game aspect. And now games can be from any title that was released on, so it could be in ColecoVision, it could be PC format, it can be PS2, PS1, Super Nintendo, that sort of thing. So you have all these options to choose from, and if you are stuck as well, I will leave a link in the description or in the comment section to the games wiki bit to show all the games that are available for Scooby-Doo if people are curious about that. And for the games, I went with Maze Chase, which was a Intellivision game, or a ColecoVision game. I think it was an Intellivision game that came out. That was the first Scooby-Doo title, and it wasn't really a Scooby-Doo game, as perhaps. I really want to speak more about the games ones because those are the memories. I just want to explain this one, mainly because it's like a Pac-Man port, and they just write it over with Scooby-Doo elements. So yeah, that was the first ever Scooby-Doo game. The Scooby-Doo Mystery for the Super Nintendo. Basically, that was on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Yeah, and I have it on Super Nintendo, but I don't have the Genesis game. At the first time you play it, it's really hard because you don't really know what you're looking for. You have to go around and collect clues, and most of the time you may get lost or miss an important clue or go down an area, then get spooked, lose your health meter. And it's a game where you won't successfully do it the first time round. You will die a few times and have to replay it, but the more times you play it, the more times you can breeze through the certain levels that you've stuck with. So it's basically a game where you pretty much just have to trial and error and hope that you get past it. The next one is Mystery of the Fun Park Phantom. This is a PC game, and the PC game goes along with the Mystery Adventures. And basically these were mostly point and click games. Really fun. I have all of them on actual CD-ROM, so that's pretty good. I do have them on my computer. You do need an old system to play them on because if you try and play on Windows 10, sometimes you get a bit buggy. So if you're an old computer that has, like, you know, compatibility wise with it, then it would do so. I think something's wrong with Windows 10 for me to not be able to play it. I had a bit of issues with my Rugrats game and all that, so yeah, trying to play it, it's really tricky on Windows 10, but you can get around it on some parts, but it's like, you know, it's a bit of a hassle for an old game. Then we had Mystery Mayhem, and this came out on PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and Game Boy Advance. The console ports are different from the handheld ports. Okay, so the console ports are all exactly the same game. So the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube are pretty much the entire same game with the same levels, the same voices, and all that. The only difference are the controls. The Game Boy port on the handheld system, that's changed dramatically. It's a different type of game setting. You get the same missions in a way, but it's like from a 2D scrolling bit. So it's a way much more different experience than actually playing the console port. If you want my best experience, I would say go for the console ports because you're getting most more out of the game. The Game Boy Advance one is good for on the go, but you're not going to get the same experience as you would from the console ports. Then we had Monsters Unleashed. Now this was a Game Boy Advance game, but also had a PC-ROM game as well. So if you remember when we had the DVD of the movie, certain ones will have a playable game on, and it was the CD-ROM game on it. So basically what you would do is you take that DVD, put it into your PC, and you'd be able to load a game that's preloaded on there. It's a click and scroll game, so that's pretty good. But yeah, it was really fun. They also had a DVD where you play in your DVD player and you play like an interactive menu game, which is basically like a questionnaire. So you had that sort of thing as well, but that had to be put into your DVD. So you had two of the best worlds. And then eventually they released an own port of the CD-ROM for Mystery Unleashed. But if you had an early release of the DVD, then you could play it straight from your computer. And then the last two is My Friend Scooby-Doo. Again, people might say, oh, it's my, it doesn't really count as a name. You're right, but it's an M starting off, so I'm taking it. I'm taking it right now. My Friend Scooby-Doo for an iOS and Android game. Not really that good, you know, hit and miss in my case, but you know, you can still, it's playable, but for me on Android, not really a way forward for me, you know, it's kind of like backwards. Then the last one is Mystery Cases, which is another good point and click game, really fun, and it's good if you're stuck on a train or a bus and you're just waiting to go somewhere and you want to play something to pass the time. You can do that. It is really easy, like you do beat the game quite fast, but they give you lots of levels in the episodes that you have in that game. It is an iOS and Android game, so keep that in mind. But yeah, it's fun, you know, and they always update with new cases for you to solve, with new upgrades to add to your characters. And I really enjoyed it, and I think you guys will too as well. Now, the future of Scooby-Doo, I want to point this out now, I really wish they would go back on the console port, or either make a Lego Scooby-Doo game, because I like how they bring them back in the phone capabilities with the iOS and Android, but at the same sense, having a console port game would be pretty good as well, especially for the nostalgic fans who actually grew up playing Scooby-Doo on the consoles, and now it's going onto the handheld phones and all that. It's like, we really want a console port because it's a bit more fun. Lego, maybe do a Lego, it works. But yeah, those were the ones that I came list by list of just what I've jotted down, which I thought was pretty good. Like, looking over, yes, okay, some of them were, you know, extent, like you couldn't add this in on the Twitter one, which was pretty understandable because the Twitter's word length, like you can have a certain amount of characters that you can use, and I can't remember which one I chose. I think I chose Mummy 2 as my one, which is a really fun one. Like, I really love that episode of bits now. As a kid, it did spook me. And there's movies as well, you got a whole range of to choose from, and it's pretty much your pick really of which one you really fancy, because every name's different. You can be called Henry, and then the first letter is H, and you have a different selection to choose from. And if you're going for a marathon run and you have a name that's a good setting, and what you can do as well, what some people do with movies and that, you go with the first letter of your name or your friend's name, and you choose that as a movie marathon. So it's pretty much thinking, what movie do I want to watch today? Oh, I'll choose for M, so it's gonna be Monster of Mexico. Watch that one. Makes it really quick. I want to go for D, go for a D movie. That sort of thing, you know. It's the quickest way to choose a movie if you have that mind block. But yes, that is day 2 of my Scooby-Doo challenge. I hope you guys have enjoyed. You can follow along by leaving a comment as well. That would be pretty good to work together to see what other ones have chosen for their type of first letter name. Now, And again, you don't have to do what I did. You don't have to choose from all four of the categories. You can just choose an episode, a series. You choose one of them. You don't have to go all out and do it, but if you want to, that'd be great. And also, well, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you in day 3. I do hope you guys have enjoyed. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.